a local from New Jersey. He goes to my local store, and he's playing an Esper Reanimator deck that he showed me earlier in the week, and I thought it was pretty cool. So it's Augur Bolus, Angel Serenity, Aetherling, Grizzlebrand, Blood Baron. Then he's got Thought Scours, Forbidden Alchemy, Supreme Verdict, Azorius Charm, Sphinx of Revelation, Warped Physique, Liliana, Unburial Rites, Far and Away. So it's kind of like an Esper control deck, but it's also an Esper Reanimator deck. Kind of like Solar Flare.
Yeah, no, you know? I like it. It sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It makes good use of Drownyard and Forbidden Alchemy, which is a card that's like pretty criminally underplayed considering its power level.
Yeah, and he's still playing Sphinx of Revelation. We saw David McDarty play a deck similar to this about maybe a month ago and open in DC, but he was playing no Sphinx of Revelation. Erik decided to play both Forbidden Alchemy and Revelation.
And who could fault him? Chris VanMeter off the races with a Grizzly Salvage after Eric Smith Thought Scoured.
Yeah, so we see a Sin Collector.
Sin Collector is a nice one in this matchup,
It really is.
And putting in a Barrow Rites in the graveyard is a bit of value as well.
Exactly. So we see Erik Thought Scoured and flipped over another Thought Scour, but also flipped over a Grizzlebrand. So it's nice to have that Grizzlebrand in the graveyard, because if he Unbarrel Rights it, it could just be, you know, almost game over. There is a Sin Collector.
He's going to collect some Sins, and he likes what he sees.
So, oh wow, Thought Scour, Warped Physique, Sphinx of Revelation, and 2 lands. This is a pretty good hand for Erik.
Yeah, this is a good one for Erik, mostly because 2 of the cards in his hand are actually concealed. He can Thought Scour in the end step, and you know, it could be anything.
Yeah. You just have a brand new hand. What do you think you take if you're Chris VanMeter?
I feel like you have to just take the Sphinx of Revelation. It's the most dangerous card. And when you see this, you also aren't, you know, expecting. You don't really know what's going on. You know, you see there's a Grizzlebrand in the graveyard, but then you look at this hand, you see Drownyard, Warp Physique. These are reasonable Esper control cards. All the Thought Scours, you're kind of thinking, all right, he's probably playing some maybe Snapcaster Mages. Maybe he's like some kind of Esper Tempo deck, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, Chris probably picked up on the fact that he is a Reanimator type deck, but he definitely doesn't know his exact list by any means. And as you can see, Chris looks kind of baffled. What do I want to
he's puzzling it out, trying to figure where he's going. He takes a Scour.
Thought Scour, wow. Do you agree with that?
It's an interesting line. He has a Restoration Angel in his hand. That might be his logic, that Revelation's not going to do anything just yet, so I'll just kill a card right now from Erik's hand. The downside being, if Erik decides to go ahead and just Warp Physique that Sin Collector, he's not going to get the Restoration Angel.
I think Erik just drew a Far and Away as a one of it, so that could be interesting. And Chris draws a Temple Garden.
Yeah, this is a little awkward because he's going to have to shock himself, which will reveal the presence of Restoration Angel to his opponent.
I think Erik has a good matchup here, to be honest. I feel I'd rather be on the blue-black-white side rather than the black-white-green side.
Honestly, I'm not sure, and it's mostly because of the slime time.
Okay, yeah.
If he starts getting those acidic slimes rolling, it can be real tough to function, especially when you're a deck without access to things like Allison's Pilgrim.
Yeah, after sideboard, Chris goes up to 4. He starts with 3 main deck.
It's possible that his Deathrite Shamans also make things a little troublesome post-board. But Chris and Ryan Brundun as well are of the mind that you can't have too many acidic slimes, so they're running 3 main deck with that 4th one on the board, and they have all their Restoration Angels in the main deck as well.
All right, so those are Augur Bolus from Erik, and he misses. No surprise there, because you know Augur Bolus is definitely loves you or hates you. So this time he's working against Erik, and there is a Restoration Angel, like you said.
Chris is going to put him to the test. He's going to pass. Yeah. Not a difficult test.
Yeah, but he's going to Warp Physique the Sin Collector, so he doesn't gain any extra value off that.
Yep.
So let's see. Looks like Angel's going to get it for 3. Now both these players are 5-1-1, and this matchup could go long, and a draw will knock them both out of any chance they have for top 8.
Yeah, it's definitely a death match.
Yeah. All right, so he's going to Unbarrel Rights the Sin Collector. Ooh, wow, double Sphinx. And a Far in the Way. So maybe he just... I still think Chris should have taken the first Sphinx, but I guess now his plan is, if he takes Far in the Way, just to ignore Sphinxes completely.
I think he just takes the Sphinx.
He has to, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, no, he doesn't.
Wow, he doesn't. This
all right,
is
so
impressive.
If Erik draws a land here, he's going to be able to go Sphinx for 3, untap, Sphinx for 4, you know, gain a bunch of the life back that he took from early damage, and just have a whole new hand.
Yeah, taking the Far and Away is pretty interesting. Chris already has another Angel in his hand. He can Angel again.
All right, I like this play. I think Erik drew an Azorius Charm, but I like doing Sphinx for 2 right here.
Yeah. if you're gonna miss the land drop, it's often correct to just main phase that Sphinx's Revelation and make sure you don't, because that's how you lose in matchups like this. Is you just start missing land drops. You're a Sphinx's Revelation deck.
Sure, and now even though Erik did miss a land drop here, he did draw into a Supreme Verdict. And you know, Chris might not be sure. He might, you know what? Maybe Erik plays Supreme Verdict. Maybe he plays only like 2. But it turns out Erik plays the full amount, 4 Supreme Verdicts, and now he has one in his hand, and he'll be able to, you know, reset the board and do what he needs to do to try to reanimate that Griselbrand. That's what Erik's goal is. He wants that Griselbrand in play, lifelinker, draw 7 new cards. So other nice targets that he has in his yard already is an Aetherling, and he also has the Blood Baron, and he has Angel Serenities.
All very interesting. I think Griselbrand's probably the best one in this matchup. But, you know, Reanimator's a deck that can remove it. They all have access to Angel of Serenity, of course, and Chris's list actually has access to 3 Fiend Hunters, which is definitely non-standard, but kind of a sizable game.
Yeah, for sure. So now Chris has access to 6 lands. Not sure of his line of play here.
Well, we're going to want to know what he named that cavern on as well. I believe Angel is correct.
Yeah. Most of the time it's usually Angel, just Grizzly Salvage.
Another Angel.
Yeah, probably pick that Restoration Angel.
We probably should have salvaged before we played the Cavern. It would make, like now, I mean, generally Erik would assume that the Cavern's going on Angel, but also, you know, maybe we did a different land, could have concealed the Cavern for an extra turn.
Sure.
Like that.
And maybe it also gives away the fact that he has another Angel in his hand.
Yeah.
So now Erik might know that, oh, he's probably got 2 Restoration Angels.
It's definitely, Erik has to put it in Chris's range that there's another Resto Angel up there.
Yeah, or Angel Serenity.
Yeah.
So now what do you take? The Verdict? Probably?
Yeah, I think you just have to snap the Verdict here, but you have, as you predicted correctly, you know, those Sphinx's Revelations have begun to snowball since we didn't take the first one.
Yeah.
Chris actually got pretty lucky in that Erik missed that land, because that really keeps his opponent from, you know, cascading into them as strongly.
Exactly.
It looks like he just hit a land, however, a Hollow Fountain, I think.
Okay.
I saw that right. So he, you know, now he's got some options.
So there's a good shot of Erik. Erik just getting back into paper Magic. Been playing a lot of Magic Online for the past couple of years. Oh, there's Lingering Souls Flashback. Not that bad.
No, he just wants to stem the bleeding a bit.
Yeah, he does.
Make another land drop, get his Sphinx up to 4.
Yeah.
The downside here is Chris is going to Resto Angel him again.
Yeah, I know. That Sync Collector's doing a lot of work.
Yeah, that card, when it came out, Jerry on Above the Curve, you know, said this might just be the death of Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah,
it kills it so hard, and those decks really struggle to deal with a repeatable duress effect in this format.
Well, Restoration Angel's gonna, you know, leave Standard pretty soon, so.
And Numbero rights too.
Yeah. So Standard's gonna be shaking up a lot of new decks, and you know, that's what keeps Standard really interesting, because every 2 years there's all new cards, all new decks.
Personally, I'm hoping for a lot more worming.
Just worming, like
Advent
Armada Worm.
Yeah.
Just all worms.
All worms all the time.
I heard they're gonna make a Worm Lord in M13. I made that up, but just go start that rumor with me,
don't
please.
go. Yeah, don't go getting my my blood rushing there.
Yeah, okay.
Whew. My heart's all aflutter.
I wonder what ability they would give, maybe Trample.
Yeah, Trample's.
Yeah.
I mean, like all the worms already have Trample, so
yeah, right.
He's gotta
like,
do something else.
Double Trample, Rampage.
Double Trample.
Maybe they'll bring back Rampage.
Rampage. That would be Bushido. Give worms Bushido.
Is Bushido and Rampage
That's
the
a
same
flavor
thing?
fail, I think. It's very close.
It's close. Okay.
Bushido is whenever it becomes blocks or becomes blocked, and Rampage is like for each blocking creature.
Above the first or something? Yeah.
Each creature adds to it. So.
Okay. So I think an Angel Serenity is going to come down here and just wipe out a bunch of those tokens.
Yeah, it looks like Chris has decided, you know, maybe it's not that big a deal if my opponent casts Sphinx's Revelation next turn.
Oh no, okay, he's going to go Fiend Hunter, Resto out this Sin Collector. I guess that play is safer.
He's Fiend Huntering, he Fiend Huntered a token.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's going to Resto to Sin.
Yeah, the whole thing is that Erik like couldn't have 4 tokens in play because then he could just gang block the Restoration Angel.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And he loses that Sphinx Revelation. He's down to an Azorius Charm, and we have seen Sin Collector just
so on Burial Rights or Supreme Verdict, Erik needs to draw here. Oh, there's an Augur. That's a start.
Yeah, that could be a hit. Could be a hit.
Forbidden Alchemy.
Another sweat.
All right, and Erik still, you know, he's got those tokens to chump with. I don't know if Chris is going to play out the Angel Serenity?
I doubt it. I think Chris will be using that to, you know, play around the potential for a Supreme Verdict. Just keep Angel of Serenity available, and as soon as he's put a verdict, he's just like, all right, well, I'll just pick up all these awesome creatures, and the verdict won't accomplish nearly as much.
So I guess the thought process is that he wants to do a main phase because he wants to maybe hit land and then the Lingering Souls in his graveyard, so he can go land, flashback Lingering Souls.
Yeah, he didn't. He did hit lands. He did not hit the Lingering Souls.
Exactly.
Though. So
not too sure what he decided to keep there. Maybe a Supreme Verdict?
I think I saw a Sphinx's Revelation, but I'm not 100% sure.
Really? Yeah, Sphinx's Revelation is just going to be too slow here.
I agree he's in trouble, but notice, you know, we've been 3 lands, so,
yeah, so it's
he
like
pretty much just had to take whatever spell he got.
Yeah. I guess Sphinx's Revelation is way better than land here, especially if he draws a Supreme Verdict. He's able to go Supreme Verdict, and then Chris will follow up with something, and then he can follow up with a decent-sized Sphinx's Revelation, and the game could go back and forth. So Chris is taking his time here. I mean, to be fair, they still have, you know, over close to 40 minutes, 30-something minutes here, so.
Chris is a methodical player. He definitely, you know, would rather take a few minutes than risk getting anything wrong.
Exactly.
He's going to do some math, probably just comparing the difference in the clock on if he casts Angel Serenity this turn versus if he just attacks.
Yeah, if he casts Angel Serenity, it's a bit more risky. What is he really going to do? He's going to remove token, and a Fiend Hunter in his graveyard? Is that his 3 targets?
Not exciting.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to wind up just casting the Thragtusk, because even if a verdict comes down next turn, that leaves him with a threat on the board. He can continue to pressure the opponent.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, both these players are 5-1-1, so their backs are against the wall.
Ooh. He appears to be...
Angeling?
He's going for it. So maybe his math came up with a different answer.
So Spirit, Fiend Hunter, probably, like we said. Can you see any other line here?
Not really. Erik has 2 targets in his graveyard for a potential Unburial Rites, but and the Griselbrand's the only good one. Aetherling is, you know, very powerful, but not so much when you're getting attacked by a lot of Restoration Angels.
Yeah.
He's going to get the Spirits, and he's going to get the Fiend.
So exactly what we thought.
And now just those guys. Okay.
And he's going to go down to 2. So Erik's on 2. Really needs a Supreme Verdict here.
It's interesting that Chris made this line because he doesn't know Erik's list, and he could very easily, you know, a Snapcaster Mage plus a Supreme Verdict gets in there as well. So Erik theoretically could have had, like, if he, you know, runs Terminus, anywhere like 11-ish outs is like completely reasonable to have to that situation. As it happened, he didn't have any of those. He's not running Snapcaster Mages, and he isn't running Terminus either, so he needed one of those 3 verdicts. That was his only thing, and didn't get there. Now,
the interesting thing about these Esper type of Reanimator decks, now that there's Obzdot Aid, you could play a Mesh deck, and you could play, you know, some Planeswalkers. Maybe you could play some 4-color build, and you could play the Nicol Bolas. What do you think?
I think that I'm going to wait for Travis Wu to break that one for me.
Okay, because I'm working on it.
Oh, it's a race.
Yeah, it is a race. All right, that's it.
This is a weird little arms race here.
As soon as I go home, that's a new deck I'm going to be working on.
All right,
and expect an article on it next week.
Obzdot's 8 is definitely, it's a dream card. You know, you think about it, and you're like, all you can see are like the awesome things it can do, and it's a reasonable card the rest of the time. You know, it's fine. A Zombify for anything.
Yeah,
not so bad.
Yeah,
really, it's not the worst.
It's no Unburial Rites, but it's cool to be able to do something like that, bring a Nicol Bolas into play.
And the things it can do are just incredible. Nicol Bolas, Omniscience, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of options.
Yeah. I wonder what split you would do, because Omniscience is a lot of mana if you have to hardcast. A Nicol Bolas you could actually hardcast. You could play some Lanterns, you maybe play Key Runes, just some form of mana ramp.
Yeah.
But Omniscience is 11, correct?
I think it's 10.
Is it?
But,
I think it's 7 blue.
I thought it was 13.
Can we bring up Omniscience on the screen if we get a chance?
We got some time.
Sure. So like I said before, Erik actually just started playing Paper Magic again. Been showing up to the local store. Really nice kid. He ended up going to Grand Prix Pittsburgh. Going into the last draft pod, he was 12-1.
Wow.
But ended up missing top 8. All right, so interesting pick here, okay? He ended up going 0-3 in the draft. Still finished with the money. Oh, wow, you're right, 10 mana. All right, good job.
Go me.
Go Glenn Jones. So he was 12-1, opens up his booster pack. All right, he could take either Syndicate of Tides or he could take the Gruul 3/3 Rage Beast that gets counters every time it attacks.
Okay.
So definitely, you know, closer than people might think. Personally, for me, I would have taken the Syndicate of Tides. He ended up taking the Gruul card, and ended up with a mishmash type of Simic Gruul deck.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of those decks. It's funny because, you know, when we first saw Gatecrash, Blood Rush seemed like a really, really powerful mechanic. We were all like, oh man, you know, blocking's never going to be safe again. What are we going to do? But then you like watch how the magic actually plays out. You know, Blood Rush it really wasn't that powerful. Like, a lot of the creatures are just better to cast. Just casting creatures is good in the format. And getting time walked while you play your like conditional pump spell is not the best either.
Exactly.
You know? Like, I don't want to discard my Zertos Swine. I want to play my sweet 5/4.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 5-mana 5/4. It's fine. You know, I'm going to spend 3 mana and get rid of it? Probably not. So, let's take a look at their sideboard really quick. Erik, he's got Evil Twin, definitely.
Yeah.
Terminus, maybe. Negate, again, maybe. Duress, no. Jace, no. Council of the Absolute. I mean, you know what I'm thinking, right? My Unburial Rights are going to be a lot cheaper, and you can't even play your Unburial Rights.
That's an interesting one.
It really is.
I might get on that one. I could get on that train.
Yeah, he's definitely going to bring in the Council of Absolutes. Dispel, no. Rename the guilds, no. And another Blood Baron?
I doubt he'll bring in the Blood Baron.
I don't think so either.
You know your opponent's going to have it at least Thragtusk, if not also just, you know, a bevy of acidic slimes.
Yeah.
If he happens to follow Chris's column on Star City, he'll know Chris loves himself some slime.
Sure.
And he'll be expecting those. On CVM's sideboard, he actually has the 4th slime, as we discussed. He has a 3rd Sin Collector. He'll certainly bring that in. Beyond that, I imagine he'll be tempted to bring in Deathrite Shaman, Voice of Resurgence, and Obsidat. Those seem like the creatures, the cards, I should say, he might want to bring in. Okay. Several of them are creatures. I'm not exactly sure what he would take out. Thragtusk is generally actually a pretty reasonable card against Esper decks, but you don't want to go too heavy on your 5s. And as we know, Eric's not like a traditional Esper deck. Thragtusk is actually not that good against him. Yeah. He can definitely go over the top of the Thragtusk. And Chris, having seen that Griselbrand, that Aetherling, maybe he wises up, you know, thinks, I might want to just get rid of these 5/3s. Go with my my acidic slime plan. Just be playing a bunch of the sweetest creatures, especially the ones from Dragon Space, like Voice and Sin Collector. Yeah, so you saw that game. That game could have been changed around, and Erik would have drawn a Supreme Verdict. So even though Chris did win game 1, it's definitely going to be a hard-fought battle. Yep. And Chris definitely knows his Junk Reanimator. You know, he's been testing a lot with BBD, and we all know BBD loves his Junk Reanimator. Oh, he does. He does. You know, the more you play a deck, lots of times the better you could get with it, and the more you understand the small, neat interactions that you might have not picked up on even that after the first, second time playing with the deck. Yeah. All right, so both players going on 6. Probably doesn't really favor anybody. You know, sometimes. I don't know. I mean, it kind of depends. I assume Chris kept his mulches in. This seems like a matchup where he wanted. And in general, I don't mind mulliganing that much when I have the mulch deck. You know? Sure. Yeah, mulches really get to unmulligan. Sphinx's Rev decks would love access to a mulch effect. Yeah. They would be down for that, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you could, but instead they all just play Farseek. Yeah. You know, like the banned control decks, especially a couple months ago when the new standard just came in. It's so much different then than it was now. I mean, the best deck back then was the black-red zombie deck. That was one of the best decks. Now you never see anybody playing with Gravecrawler. You never see anybody playing with Dross Messenger. I'm hoping that we get to see a little bit of a black-red renaissance, you know. I don't think Blood Scrivener is the key, although some people do. I don't think he's that good. Yeah, I don't know. He's no Dark Confident. I think there might be something to Varolz. Which card is that? The Troll. The sack a guy to regenerate him, and he gives all your creatures in the graveyard scavenge. Oh, the 4-mana 3/3? The 3-mana 2/2. He's black-green, though? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you meant the black-red 4-mana 3/3 with Unleash. No, not exactly. Okay. Yeah. I think that card's pretty good. I think that card's going to be awesome once Hellrider and Aristocrat are gone. Yeah, that's fair. It's so sick that card is so good, and yet there are just 2 better cards in the format. Is that Mythic or just regular rare? She's a Mythic, yeah. She's a Mythic? I'm pretty sure she's a Mythic. I could be wrong, but I think she's a Mythic. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, the haste, yeah. Oh, apparently she's a Maze Runner, so she's a rare. What is it, a Maze Runner? A Maze Runner. Oh, Maze Runner? Oh, okay, sure. One of the guild things. If you follow the story, then that's her game. Alright, so there's a Water Regrave from Erik, Godless Shrine for Chris, and he's got a Thought Scour. So Supreme Verdict and Drowned Catacombs. And there's a Drowned Catacombs. I don't know, is Erik late on lands? I think he thought Scour first because if he hit a shock land, he would want to play it tapped this turn.
Okay, that's fair, yeah.
So, you know, just tight play, sequencing it correctly. Obviously, the Drowned Catacombs indicates he doesn't have a shock land in his hand, and obviously, he drew one this turn.
Yeah, maybe Lingering Souls?
Yeah.
All right, so Lingering Souls. Chris not playing Lingering Souls this week. Eric's playing 3 copies of it. And there's a Grizzly Salvage. Ooh, Unburial Rights. That's a really good way to start it. Acidic Slime.
Ooh. We're getting off to the races fast.
Probably want the Arbor Elf? Does he have? He has Temple Guard in hand, right?
He has a Sunpelt Grove, a Temple Guard, and a Sin Collector, and I believe another Slime. And that might be 2 slimes. He has.
Oh,
he has
really? Wow,
card.
this is gonna get really bad for Eric if Chris starts chaining his Acidic Slimes.
I think your read's right. I think I would take the Arbor Elf and try to turn 4 Slime.
Yeah.
The other option is casting a Sin Collector on turn 3, but in this current board state, Sin Collector's not that powerful.
Oh, he took land? He took
Took
Overgrowth too?
land. Interesting.
Okay.
I guess that means he is planning to Sin Collector.
Yeah, I guess Eric's plan. Well, now he's your Grizzly Salvage. I still think he's probably gonna Sin Collector.
Imagine if we had taken that Arbor Elf, though. We could have, gone Arbor Elf, Grizzly Salvage again. That's a pretty good
So
line.
there's Grizzlebrand, Sphinx Revelation, and Double Verdict. So Eric's hand's kind of sneaky here.
Yeah, you just, I think you just take that Sphinx's Revelation, even
Probably.
though the Verdict's like more likely to be cast in the game because it's not going to impact you very much.
Yeah, there's a close shot of it.
Yeah, you can just go Slime, take him off white mana, and wait for nature to take its course.
Yeah, I think Eric's gonna have to get really lucky with his Lingering Souls here. Maybe he's gonna have to draw another one and just try to beat in.
Yeah. Which makes those Verdicts
Forbidden
even
Alchemy.
worse.
Okay.
It's a pretty good card for Erik.
Yeah, not the worst.
It's gonna be the best card of his top 4, so
yeah.
That's not.
But
so
I mean,
bad.
does he just want to land?
I would probably be taking a land over most of things. He certainly doesn't want that Verdict. And yeah, it looks like he likely took.
And he doesn't attack. I think he needs to attack there.
I think he's concerned about losing the race, but to be honest, yeah, I think he needs to start getting in damage.
I mean, you at least attack with 1.
Yeah, 1's definitely fine.
Yeah. So.
A little conservative. And Chris knows, he's like, yeah, I'm cool with trading here. I've got barrier rights. Well, if we're not blocking, then I don't know why.
Yeah, I think Erik probably just made a hasty play there, which what happens.
It's possibly thought Chris wouldn't swing if he left up blockers, because last game Chris didn't do that.
Yeah.
He saw a Spirit or an Augur Bolus and Spirits and whatever, and he just never put that Sin Collector in the red zone. But this game, Chris is on a different plan.
Yeah.
He's on the Slime plan, not the Resto plan, which is, one of the reasons Junk Reanimator is such a powerful strategy.
Yeah. Oh, there was a Council of Absolute.
So he did bring those in.
Yeah.
We were right about that. And I like that. I think it's one of the more interesting ways to attack Umbera rights.
Yeah, I think Council is really good, and I think this deck has something behind it, the Esper Reanimator deck, especially if Junk Reanimator stays big. Maybe you could even main deck the Councils, because you have Sphinx Revelation already.
You could definitely do something with
and it reduces flashback too, right, or no? Or only reduces casting cost?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what it says. I think it reduces flashback as well.
Sure.
I believe
I think it costs you 2 less to play.
Yeah, it just costs you 2
exactly,
less to play.
So, I mean, it works with Forbidden Alchemy reasonably well, too.
Eric's going to go ahead and block now, and he did get in his attack on the previous turn.
Yeah.
So the race is evening up a little for him, but Chris is just going to keep jamming these acidic slimes.
I mean, at least Eric's fighting, and he's hitting his land drops.
Yeah.
So it says, spells with the chosen name, costs you 2 less to play. So, flashback will cost you 5. Not the worst. The only downfall there is most opponents won't be playing Forbidden Alchemy, so you won't get double value.
Interestingly, Chris went for the blue source here, as opposed to the white sources, when he knows his opponent has Supreme Verdicts. So Chris is kind of eyeing the longer game. He's concerned about the actual good spells in his opponent's deck. Doesn't want him to be able to draw a bunch of cards and get ahead that way.
So does he have another Acidic Slime?
Yeah, I think he does.
And
the one in play
salvage?
was put into play via Barrow Rights,
the
first one, on turn 4. And then on turn 5 he cast one, and now he can cast a third one. And this is horrifying for Erik, because he knows if he double blocks, he actually might wind up getting a Barrow Rights and slimed again. But
yeah, so he's just chumping? Okay.
Cavern on Slime, I imagine.
Or Ooze.
Ooze, yeah.
But, I mean, he probably named something else.
I don't know, he tapped the land. I think
did he really?
Ooze, yeah.
He's afraid of counters, I guess?
I mean, in this kind of situation where you know your opponent's dead if you can just get going, I think it's totally fine to just go ahead and overload there.
Yeah, Death Ray Shaman. I think, you know what? I think Erik's build there could be something really good there. Maybe he could even play Deathray Shaman.
Maybe Forbidden Alchemy and Deathray Shaman have a lot of synergy.
It really does. Yeah, and you want your mana because Deathray Shaman and Sphinx Revelation also have synergy. Thought Scour, Deathray Shaman, a lot going on there. And a lot of people are kind of cut down on those resting pieces. So, all right, so there's a Grizzly Salvage.
He's going to main phase this Grizzly Salvage in order to hopefully hit a resto and take his opponent off the field once more. Yeah, and that's what he did.
Really tough spot for Erik to be in here.
Yeah, Eric's already picking up that Halophant. He's like, I know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a spot where you're getting pretty grisly. Interestingly, Chris might have been tempted to resto upkeep or do it a little differently maybe if Erik hadn't just started picking up that land. Ultimate Price or something could like break you up. Like I think I would generally resto on the upkeep. I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Technical play, sure, but just the way it is now. And Eric's smiling there. A couple of rough draws. Chris moves on to 6-1-1, so he's in decent shape here.
Yeah.
Just 2 more wins, and he's probably going to be in top 8 as long as.